Field measurements. In order to determine the ability of numerical models to predict sediment transport and morphodynamics over sandy beds, several field measurements of sediment transport have been carried out on 3 different sandy macrotidal beaches. Although sediment fluxes can be estimated using acoustic or optical backscatter instruments, this study was based on direct sediment transport measurements using sediment traps rather than these techniques. Previous studies highlighted that acoustic or optical backscatter sensors can often be problematic in the coastal zone due to bubbling in the breaker and surf zones and or to the presence of organic matter in the water column and to grain size variability. Thus, streamer traps appeared to be the most adapted and the most accurate method to measure longshore sediment transport in the shoaling, breaking and surf zone on these macrotidal beaches. Field methodology. A. In situ measurements of longshore sediment transport during low to moderate wave energy conditions. B. Schematic representation of streamer trap used during the experiments. C. Locations of sediment trap deployment along a shore perpendicular transect. D. Hydrographic instruments used during the field experiments. E. Shore perpendicular profiles showing the location of the hydrographic instruments. Codes refer to beach morphology where UB and pound are upper and lower beach respectively, B and T correspond to bars and troughs. Elevations are relative to the French topographic datum, IGN 69. Longshore sediment fluxes were estimated using streamer traps, following the method proposed by Krauss. The sediment traps consisted of a vertical array of 5 individual streamer traps with 63 micrometers mesh sized of cloth that collects sand-sized particles at different elevations above the bed. First streamer trap, F5, is located 0.05 meters above the bed and the last one, F1, is at approximately 0.90 meters. B. Measurements of LST with the sediment traps were undertaken during 10 minutes. Calculations of the sediment flux from sand traps were carried out according to the procedure of Rosati and Krauss. The sediment flux QF, in kg.S1.m2, at a streamer trap, F, is equivalent to. Whereas F is the dry weight of sediment collected in the streamer, F, H is the height of the streamer opening, 0.07 meters, W is the streamer width, 0.14 meters, and T is the sampling period, 10 minutes. The sediment flux between neighboring streamers Kf corresponds to the linear interpolation between 2 adjacent traps. The depth integrated flux, Q, in kg.S1.m1 is. Where H is the height of the streamer opening in meters, Qf is the sediment flux at a streamer F, F is the distance between neighboring streamers, Kf is the sediment flux between neighboring streamers and N is the total number of streamers, N equals 5. Measurements of LST were carried out at several locations across the intertidal zone during rising and falling tides in order to obtain estimates of longshore sediment flux from the lower to the upper beach during flood and ebb. C. Although the sediment traps were usually deployed in similar water depth, ranging from 0.8 to 1.4 meters, sediment transport measurements took place in various hydrodynamic zones including shoaling, breaker and surf zones, depending on wave activity during sampling. For safety reasons, sand transport measurements were conducted only under low to moderate wave energy conditions, H's max 0.7 meters. 2 field experiments were conducted on each study site, Zuidkoop in November 2008, ZY08, and December 2009, ZY09, Wiesent in March 2009, WI09, and March to April 2010, WI10, and Hardelot in June 2009, HA09, and January to February 2010, HA10, resulting in the collection of 172 depth integrated sediment flux measurements. Coastal hydrodynamics were measured at different locations across the bar trough morphology along cross-shore transects using various hydrographic instrument, D. Waves and currents were measured using 3 different hydrographic instruments, an acoustic Doppler current profiler, ADCP, and 2 electromagnetic wave and current meters, Midas Failport copyright, and Inter-Ocean ADWS4. All instruments operated during 9 minutes intervals every 15 minutes at a frequency of 2 Hz, providing almost continuous records of significant wave height, H's, wave period and direction, longshore current velocity, VL, and mean current velocity, VM, and direction. Current velocity was measured at different elevations above the bed depending on each instrument. The ADWS-4 and Vailport current meters recorded current velocity at 0.4 meters and 0.2 meters above seabed respectively, while the ADCP measured current velocity at intervals of 0.2 meters through the water column from 0.4 meters above the bed to the water surface. Current velocity at 0.2 meters above the bed was estimated using the ADCP data by applying a logarithmic regression curve to the measured velocities obtained at different elevations in the water column. Beach morphology plays a major role in the variation of sediment transport rates, especially on bar trough topography. Thus, during each field experiment, beach morphology was surveyed using a very high-resolution differential global positioning system, DGPS, with horizontal and vertical error margins of plus or minus 2 cm and plus or minus 4 cm respectively. A 300 meters wide zone of the beach was systematically surveyed on each study site, whereas the cross-shore extent of the surveyed area was variable depending on tidal range. The field experiments have been conducted under different conditions of wave energy and tidal range at each study site. Because sand transport measurements were restricted to moderate to low wave energy conditions, the range of wave heights recorded during sediment trapping is relatively constrained. A classification of wave energy conditions during the field experiments was adopted in which h is less than 0.2 meters represents low wave energy conditions, 0.2 less than or equal to h is less than 0.4 meters refers to moderate wave energy conditions, and h is greater than or equal to 0.4 meters represents higher energetic conditions. Examples of hydrodynamic conditions during some field experiments. A. Time series of significant wave height, m, and wave direction, degree, during WI-10 and HA09 experiments. B. Photographs of low and high wave energy conditions during the experiments. The lowest wave energy conditions took place during the HA09 experiment. 99% of the significant wave heights were under 0.4 meters and 46% were under 0.2 meters for a mean longshore current velocity of 0.2 meters. S1. High wave energy conditions occurred during several field experiments with a maximum wave height of 2.4 meters reached at Vicent in 2010, WI-10, while longshore current velocity reached 2 meters. S1. Such high energy conditions lasted over only 2 tidal cycles, however, during this field experiment. In comparison, the maximum significant wave height during the HA10 experiment was 2.1 meters, but the duration of high energy conditions was considerably longer, as 80% of the recorded wave heights was higher than 0.4 meters for an average H's of 0.70 meters, which is remarkably high for the relatively low energy coast of northern France, where wave heights are generally lower in the intertidal zone. During the 6 field experiments, more than 700 sediment samples were collected, which were used to compute 172 depth integrated sediment fluxes. Among these, 79 depth integrated sediment fluxes were obtained close to a hydrographic instrument, allowing a comparison between LSD and hydrodynamic parameters. Throughout the 6 field experiments, most of the longshore sediment transport rates, greater than 50%, ranged from 1 by 10 to 4 kg. S1.m1 to 1 by 10 to 3 kg. S1.m1. A. Sediment transport rates show a high variability depending on the study site and during each field experiment due to variations in hydrodynamic conditions. B. Longshore sediment flux reached values up to 2.1 by 10 to 1 kg. S1.m1 during the ZY09 experiment, which was the most energetic event during which sediment sampling took place. Lower rates of sediment transport were measured in the vicinity of current meters, where sediment flux nevertheless reached approximately 1.6 by 10 to 1 kg. S1.m1 for a mean flow velocity of half a meter. S1. Significantly higher transport rates were observed during the most energetic conditions, however, notably during the HA10, ZY09 and WI09 field experiments. B. Range of LSD4, A. All field experiments, and B. Each field experiment. Longshore sediment transport rates measured during this study are in the same order of magnitude as other studies conducted on microtidal beaches as well as on macrotidal beaches. The fact that ranges of values are similar whatever the tidal conditions are, suggests that tidally induced currents are not the main forcing and do not act significantly on longshore sediment transport magnitude. Maximum and minimum values of LSD measured using streamer traps on microtidal beaches and macrotidal beaches. Numbers of samples are located just above the bar charts. Comparisons of transport rates with hydrodynamic data showed that longshore sediment transport increases with both significant wave height and mean current velocity. Low sediment transport, less than 1.0 by 10 to 4 kg. S1.m1, is mainly associated with small wave heights, less than 0.3 meters, but only a small increase in wave height appears to induce significantly larger sediment transport. However, high sediment transport values can also be associated with low wave conditions, such as during the WI09 experiment when a sediment transport rate of 2.